Good morning. I'd like to just take some time and maybe offer a little bit of encouragement. I don't know what you may be facing. I know most of us are still in a situation where we are in a stay-at-home position. Fortunately, with my job, I can be doing work at the house, but then also doing work at the church and not be dealing with too many people as far as the pastor's job. And fortunately, the fire department has been quiet recently. I was reading in my Bible this morning, and I was encouraged when I read Psalm 77. And I just thought of some things I thought I'd share with you, some things that encouraged me, and I hope they would encourage you as well. A little side story. I'm working at the house. Our ceiling fan and light combination in the master bedroom had stopped working. The light would no longer work, and so we bought a new fan and light combination, and I was trying to install it last night. I've put in lights before. I figured it would be pretty simple. But it seems like there's about, by my count, 15 different wires coming into that box where the fan needs to hook up. And unfortunately, I did not realize that when I took the nuts off the wires and disconnected the old fan. And as soon as I took those nuts off, those wires just spread out. And they are not marked as far as what goes where. And so I am trying to figure out, and with that light switch being off or that light not being connected, we've lost power to about half of our house. And so I've been playing with that. I thought I got it working last night before I went to bed, and it turned out it's still, we got power to part of the house, but not to the light fixture. So I'm going to be playing with that today, but it was a little frustrating. I'm not an electrician, and I don't like playing with electricity. And in frustration, I was losing my cool. And last night I had a terrible time just sleeping, trying to, as the problem was still going through my mind, thinking it through. And just this morning, as I said, I was reading Psalm 77. I don't know if you are having anything that's discouraging you. Maybe it's just staying at home. Maybe it's doing some work around the house or on your job. And I thought maybe this might just encourage you, so I thought I would share it. Again, Psalm 77 says, I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble I sought the Lord. My sore ran in the night, and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Selah. Thou holdest mine eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with mine own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. Will the Lord cast off forever, and will he be favorable no more? Is his mercy clean gone forever? Doth his promise fail forevermore? Hath God forgotten to be gracious? Hath he in anger shut up his tender mercies? Selah. And I said, This is mine infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work, and talk of thy doings. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Thou art the God that doest wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Selah. The waters saw thee, O God. The waters saw thee. They were afraid. The depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out water. The skies sent out a sound. Thine arrows went abroad. The voice of thy thunders was in the heavens. The lightnings lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea, and thy paths in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Just a couple thoughts on what I just read, if you were following along. In verse 1, we can see that in the midst of troubles, we can stop and we can go and we can talk to God. He listens to us. You know, and even Asaph, as he wrote this in verses 2 and 4, he talks about in his trouble, he was even having trouble sleeping. And he was even just complaining to God. And I'm thankful for the fact that God recognizes the fact that we are flesh, and there's times that the complaining comes. And God expects us to be honest with him. In verses 5 through 9, Asaph is wrestling within himself. He's struggling with himself. He's questioning, has God forgotten him? Has God forgotten the nation of Israel? Is God mad at him? Has he done something to offend God? Has God just not caring anymore? But in verse 10, it starts off with, and I said, this is my infirmity. In other words, this was sick thinking. He recognized that it was a faulty way of thinking. And then in verses 10 through 18, he starts to get back to remembering the things that God has done in the past. He was encouraged by that as he remembered all of God's past dealings with the nation. And I think we can do the same thing as we remember the things that God has done for us personally, what God has done for us for other people. It's important to get into Scripture and look at these different things. God is a God who cares for his people. Those last two verses there, it talks about, I'll just read it. It says, thy way is in the sea, and thy path in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. We don't know what God is doing. I don't know why God is allowing me to learn a little bit more about electricity, and maybe it's just to learn to appreciate some of those things a little bit more. But I don't know why we have a pandemic going on. I'm not going to pretend to have those answers. I don't know. I don't know what God is doing day by day, but I know I can trust him. I know I can follow him because he has proven himself time and time again, both in the past biblically, but I can even give testimony within my own life where he has worked in my life, and oftentimes where I've questioned and wondered, what are you doing, God? But in the end, I see that he brought me through things for my good. He brought me through things for his glory. And I've learned many lessons. Sometimes it seemed like God acted at the last moment, but he acted at the perfect moment that he needed to do. So I just wanted to encourage you with those thoughts. You might take some time, get into the Psalms today and just read through. Psalm 77 is a good one to look at. My favorite, Psalm 23, a lot of us could quote that. But there's just so much in the Psalms just to encourage our hearts. Don't allow yourself to get discouraged. Remember, God is still on his throne, and I trust you'll have a good day.